Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. How do you come up with a good name for a new business? This is an Ask Me Anything suggestion. So listen, let's come up with some ideas. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, sales trainer, consultant, author, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have a little more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I got an Ask Me Anything suggestion from Rami, who said that they have a DJ company and they're struggling coming up with the perfect name. They want it to be simple. They want it to represent their business and all those things that we all want, but they're struggling with that. So how do you come up with the perfect name? And the answer is you don't. There is no perfect name. There's just a good name for what you're doing in your market for the kind of results you provide and therefore. So here's a couple of things to think about, Rami, because I don't have all the details, or any of you else thinking about starting a new division or a new business or whatever. The first thing is, are you trying to build a business that you're going to want to sell at some point? Because if you are, then you might not want to have your personal name in the name of the business and in the URL. Now, my business, which is Wedding Business Solutions, it's an LLC, but I do business as Alan Berg, alanberg.com, and Wedding Business Solutions. My website is alanberg.com because I am the business. I made that conscious decision. I don't have other speakers, trainers, coaches, etc. If you hire me to review your website, it's me. If you hire me to come in to do sales training, it's me. If we come to a mastermind or my speaking, it's me. That was a conscious decision. If I was looking to have other people, I would have been weddingbusinesssolutions.com, which of course I own, and it does go to alanberg.com. And I would have had this umbrella for these other people. Now, that's also a conscious decision because it says Wedding Business Solutions, which is the podcast name, and again, the business name, because I do business outside the industry, but I don't look for it and not enough that I need that. But I do own other URLs. alanberg.com, of course, alanbergcsp.com, alanberg.net, and all kinds of other things that I do. I also have yourpersonalsalestrainer.com and other things where if I wanted to look for more of that business, I have other URLs. So if you listen to some of those names, Wedding Business Solutions, it says the industry and what I do. I provide business solutions in the wedding industry, right? Your personal sales trainer, there you go. I look for a name where I can get the .com, right? Because we have .nets and we have .org and we have .biz and .guru and all these other things. But when people think of your web address, they think of the .com. So you want to also, when you're coming up with name ideas, look to see if the name is available. I avoid hyphens. I avoid anything else that would just be odd for you to type in very quickly and very easily, because people are going to mistype it. And they're just not going to get to you. So you want to look at that kind of stuff as well as when you come up with some ideas for names, can you get the .com? Because that's going to be really important. The other thing is you want to avoid geographic names if you're looking to expand, or you want to buy multiple versions of it. So let's say for me, I live in New Jersey, so I could have had alanbergnj.com if I did business in New Jersey. And then if I was doing business in Ohio, I could have had alanbergoh.com, right? If I could have all those versions of it, that might make sense for you to have variations. And if you're thinking ahead, you might want to buy those URLs to protect yourself so you have them going forward so that nobody else can go and grab those later. So those are some considerations. As far as the name itself, can the name speak to the type of business and the results you provide, if possible, or at least the type of service that you do? And if you can use some sort of keywords, which is getting tougher and tougher and tougher because there's so many people competing with you for those keywords, if you can include a geographic and a service keyword, right? Like if I had allensnjdj.com, right? I'm a New Jersey DJ. Well, I'm not, but if I was, that might be okay, right? But I'm sure that njdj.com is taken and newjerseydj.com is taken and newjerseydiskjockey.com is probably taken. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. You'd want to look for those things because if you could be where your URL and your business name have the keywords that people are searching for, that'll just help you get off the ground so much quicker to get traffic even before people have found you in some other ways, just because they'll find you through keyword searches. And yes, there's a lot more to that. And yes, reach out to Brian Lawrence to help you with your SEO and things like that. So perfect name? No. What does the name say to people who don't know you? So when you come up with some ideas of names, you want to brainstorm and then start asking people without influencing them. Say, here are some names. Tell me which of these names you think fits for, in the case of Rami, a DJ company in this market. And then speak to the people who are your target market. So if your target market is Gen Y and Gen Z, you want to ask Gen Ys and Gen Zs. Preferably engaged people if you're doing weddings, corporate people if you're doing corporate, right? What does this say to them? What message does it say? So these are the kind of considerations you want to have and just not come up with a name, say, hey, I love that name, and there you go. And then find out that keywords aren't going to help you with that, and it's too close to somebody else in your market or things like that. This is another place that you can use AI to brainstorm ideas, and you go in and give it a long description. I think I've said this before, but people over 45, I've heard, get better results from AI because we give it better instructions. So can you go and say, hi, and this is the way I talk to ChatGPT. Hi, or good afternoon. I'm a DJ, professional DJ in this market. I specialize in weddings, events, quinces, whatever it is. And I'm looking for a name for a business that's going to be focusing on people who live in this area that are looking for these type of services. My business will represent high quality. My prices will be above average. And the more description, the better. And say, I'm looking for ideas for names. Give me 10 ideas for names that are 3 words or less. And then see what it comes up with. And then if you like some of them, say, okay, I like these, but tweak them a little bit or give me 10 more. And this is where you can just brainstorm with AI. And if you say, I want to try to incorporate some of these keywords in here, or do your research and find out what the top keywords are for your category and market, and then just brainstorm and then go, can I get the .com? Right? I can't get the .com on that. I love that name, but I can't get the .com. And then do some of your own searching. Go on and start, and then you can do this with AI as well. I would do this maybe with Perplexity. It tends to be a little bit more up to date than ChatGPT on some of this. But say, what other companies are using names that are similar to this, and where are they located? And then you go and look at that, because similar name might not be bad if they're on a different part of the country, but if they're in a different part of your city, you want to avoid that. I know a few people who have similar names in different types of businesses, because before the internet, it didn't matter. You were in your local yellow pages, your local magazine, newspaper, whatever. It didn't matter if somebody 3 states away had a name similar. Then all of a sudden, with the internet, with that search, you're coming up. People in another city are coming up in another state because the name is so similar. So right now you want to do those searches ahead of time and see if you can avoid that problem by not having a name that's similar to someone else where you could get confused. And yeah, sometimes confusion can actually bring you business because it was their customer, but then later when you're more established, they could be taking from you. So can you avoid that up front? So those are just some considerations. Am I going to want to sell the business? Do I want my name in the business? Because yes, people know me and that's a draw, but now what about the other people on my team? Everybody wants me because my name's in the business. I hear that all the time. So can you have your name not as part of the company name, but can you still have yourself on the website? It's, XYZ photography, by, Allenberg and Company. Right? Something like that. So can you make it more inclusive if you're going to have a team, even if you don't have one now? Can you make it a name that will allow you to expand that way, where you don't have to say, gosh, everybody knows it's me. And it's like, if I was trying to do that now, everybody's looking for Allenberg. They're not looking for the other trainers, speakers, consultants that I could have on a team, which I don't, but they're not looking for that. And it would be a little bit more difficult. And they say, yeah, but Alan, I want you. Your name's on the company. Your name's the website. Right. But that was a conscious decision. It wasn't something where now I'm regretting that. No, not regretting that at all. Right. And if I want to expand outside the wedding and event industry, my website, alanberg.com, is not saying weddings. It would be the text on the website and things that would say that. It's not the URL. So with this podcast, I'm targeting wedding businesses and event businesses. But as you know, I don't only talk about weddings and events. However, people coming to this are going to have that predisposition thinking, well, I don't know if I'm going to get anything out of this because I don't have a wedding business. And then they hear it and go, yeah, I guess I could. So Rami, thank you so much for the suggestion. If you have a suggestion, please go to podcast.alanberg.com. And there's a button there and it says, ask me anything. Click on there and make your suggestion, and maybe you'll be on a future episode. Thanks. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you have a suggestion for a future topic or a guest, please go to podcast.alanberg.com and you can make your suggestion there. You can also do it at Ask Me Anything, which is a button on that page, or just email me at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com. And if you'd like to find out how I can help you with sales training, website review, consulting, or speaking for your group or organization, possibly at no cost to the organization, contact me directly, alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com. Thanks again for tuning in.